Good seeing you again. Um, oh man, been a day. It's been a day of ups and downs, ups and downs. Hmm. Ended up good though. Ended up good. Um, Partially because I got to actually process it a little bit with somebody real time. But you know, I'm really glad that I got to actually process it with a person because some of I usually get a chance to. I usually actually get a chance to because I have a really, really beautiful, strong community here. And I have, if I'm really going through something, somebody will see it and be like, hey, you need to talk. Or I'll have people that I can reach out to and like process some things with if something gets like stuck up here. And this wasn't actually anything to do with the hurricane and the situation that we're in right here is actually personal relationships where things have been brought out, I think partially due to the nature of the situation that we're in. And I'm glad I got to process it with somebody because there's been some times when I've just kind of used this to process externally. And that's helpful too. Um, I'm not even going to say that one's more helpful than the other because there's times when just speaking into the ethers with this kind of form, it can be helpful to just like really, really take the pauses and time and space that you need to kind of let the thoughts percolate and flow. And with with where I ended up with this today, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty details of it, but what I'll essentially say is that there was a situation that came up with somebody that I care a lot about. And, you know, there's somebody that is very near and dear to my heart. And there was just an interaction that took place between the two of us that this person didn't feel comfortable with, um, and called it out to me um, shortly after. My issue with it was that I didn't feel that the way that it was brought up and the way that it was handled matched matched the situation. Didn't feel like it was an even response at all. It's like if somebody screams getting a paper cut, but then they wince breaking their leg. It's like the appropriate response for the leg break feels like it should probably be the scream, and the appropriate response to the paper cut feels like it should be like a wince, like oh yeah, you know when when something happens and it seems like it's a paper cut, but then a scream is the response to it. It's like, okay, that deserved a reaction, but with that level of reaction. Now, my work came in after that because what I had to realize for myself is that, um, one, even though I felt that that was the case, of this reaction from this other person being not corresponding to what led to it, when I started to really just self-analyze and be like, oh, this is what you did. This is what you did in this situation. You know, did that seem like a big deal to you? No. But what's important is that it was a big deal to them. And that's the thing that we have to be aware of and sensitive of with people, is we don't know what kind of traumas they're carrying. Even if we get to know somebody for a little while, you don't know the depth of the traumas that they're carrying. You don't know why that reaction is the way that it is, but the fact is that it is that way. And you need to be able to navigate that more deftly. And I'm taking accountability for myself and my own mind with that, is that I failed to navigate that as deftly as I could have. And because of that, I might that connection might no longer be a part of my life now. And that's sad, to potentially lose a friend over something that could have been avoided. But it's also something that you just you gotta just take as a lesson moving forward of, all right, well, I'm gonna remember how much this sucked, you know, how much the situation was not pleasant, and to try to do better, because I don't want to end up in that situation again. I don't want anybody else to end up in that situation again. But yeah, it's uh it's tough. But sorry, I'm thinking a little bit right now. I'm sorry. I heard somebody out there like laughing. I wasn't sure if they were there. Um, my roommate's got some people over, so um, but yeah, I guess all I'll say more with that is that ultimately with these kind of situations, I'm not in control of somebody else's response. I'm not in control at all of anybody else's life. That's actually one of the biggest lessons that I have to learn in this life right now, is release and control. And that can be tough sometimes. I feel like I'm doing good at it. I feel like I'm getting better, and then like something like this happens. It's just like, gosh, man, like I want to make it better. I want to make it right, and it's just like, well, you know, that ship has kind of sailed, and it's sad that it sailed that quickly, but the fact is that it did, and you can't control that. Like, all you can control right now is how you're responding to this situation, and how you're responding. It's like, are you going to be in a mindset of like, this person did something bad to me and this person wronged me, you know, this person's crazy and irrational and like XYZ, you pick your label? Or are you going to be like, wow, thank you, human being, for giving me that lesson? Because ultimately, there's so many lessons that are just waiting there for us, but we just have to open up to being able to see them. And it's a lot harder to see them when it's a volatile interaction. It's a lot harder to see the gift in it, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. And that's my lesson for today. That's what I'm having to be reminded of here moving forward, is that there's always a lesson, there's always a seed of wisdom in there. Always. Just gotta find it. Just gotta find it. So that's me today. That's what I got. Um, if somebody sees this and you enjoy it and you feel like you got something out of it, um, you know, I hope that's the case. I really do hope that's the case. Um, Wherever you are, just keep trucking, keep moving forward. It's gonna be okay. Um, and even if this is just a way that we're expressing and leaning on each other in the meantime, even if there's not any, direct interaction happening between the two of us or all of us. Just know that I value you and I care about you, and yeah, I just appreciate you tuning in and being with me on this journey. So, sending you a lot of love wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon.